The story kicks off with a man named Nemo, who pretends to be a handyman as he's dropped off at a luxury penthouse by a pilot. His mission is clear. He has just 7 minutes to steal 3 valuable paintings, including a rare self-portrait by Austrian artist Egon Schiele. Helping him from a distance is his hacker partner, known as Number 3, who gives him step-by-step directions through a radio. As soon as Nemo enters, Number 3 unlocks the first door remotely, and Nemo quickly disables the security system. He grabs 2 of the paintings and carefully stuffs them into a bag. On his way to the bedroom, he's distracted by a family photo. It shows the art collector, his daughter, and their dog. For some reason, the girl's emotionless face sticks with him. He grabs the 3rd painting, then radios Number 3 to say that the Schiele portrait isn't where it was supposed to be. With only 4 minutes left, he rushes into another room filled with video art, but still finds nothing. This frustrates Number 3, who reveals the painting is worth a staggering $3 million. With time running out, the hacker tells Nemo to forget it and leave with what he has. Nemo agrees, but before leaving, he asks for the code to turn the security system back on. Unfortunately, he enters the wrong code. This causes the entire system to glitch, locking all the doors and setting off a loud alarm. Panic sets in. Nemo yells at Number 3 for help, but his partner doesn't know what to do. Then suddenly, he cuts communication and abandons him. Trapped and alone, Nemo desperately tries to break the system using the touchscreen panel, but it doesn't work. The blaring siren becomes unbearable, so he covers his ears and ends up cutting the wires to the speaker to make it stop. Still determined to escape, he tries to force the front door open with a sharp tool. But the system malfunction has also cranked up the heat in the house, making it feel like an oven. Drenched in sweat and parched, Nemo heads to the kitchen for water. The smart fridge warns that supplies are low, but he finds a bottle of vodka and takes a few sips to cool down. Nemo keeps working on the door, only to realize the other side is reinforced with steel. Exhausted and out of ideas, he slumps in defeat. That night, he tries reaching out to Number 3 again, but there's no answer. With no help coming, he drinks more vodka and eats whatever food is left in the fridge. While flipping through the TV channels, he discovers security camera footage showing the outside of the building, including the front of the penthouse. Eventually, he falls asleep in the daughter's bedroom. The next morning, he's startled awake by the sound of a helicopter flying overhead. Thinking it's a rescue team, he rushes to the window, only to see it fly past. Then he spots an injured pigeon nearby. The heat continues to rise, so he washes his face in an indoor water fountain. Still getting no response from Number 3, he goes to the office and picks up the landline, but there's no dial tone. While checking the owner's belongings, he finds a Pritzker medal, an award for architecture. He finds a bunch of dried, rock-hard oranges. Out of frustration, he tries to throw them at the window to break it. But it doesn't work, so he hurls them into the indoor fountain in anger. Then he notices a skylight on the ceiling. A new idea sparks in his mind. He begins stacking furniture piece by piece to build a tower, hoping to reach the top and escape through the skylight. As he works, the heat and effort leave him even more dehydrated. He checks the garden faucets and sprinklers for water, but nothing comes out. With no better choice, Nemo goes back to the smart fridge and grabs some ice to ease his thirst. The next day, while adjusting his makeshift tower to reach the skylight, he checks the building's security camera feeds again, hoping to spot someone who could help him. That's when he notices a woman eating on the stairs outside. She seems to be a cleaner. Nemo decides to call her Jasmine. Just seeing her with food reminds him how hungry he is. Driven by hunger, he opens one of the remaining food containers, but in the process, cuts his hand. As the heat inside the penthouse keeps rising, he starts scraping ice from the freezer walls just to stay hydrated. But when he leaves the fridge open too long, it suddenly blasts the song Macarena, adding to his growing frustration. One rainy night, he gets creative and uses a statue like a crowbar to pry open the storage room door. Inside, he finds some basic supplies. He soon hears the sprinklers come on, and he rushes to drink the water and take a refreshing shower under them. Eventually, Nemo finishes building his tower high enough to reach the skylight. Exhausted from all the effort, he rests and passes the time by sketching Jasmine as she appeared on the TV feed. Just then, he sees her cleaning near the main door. He tries to call out for help, but she doesn't hear him. She's wearing earphones. Though disappointed, Nemo finally feels some relief when the faulty thermostat suddenly drops the temperature, cooling the stifling air. Sitting in front of a strange piece of art titled Temporary Reception Center, which shows people stuck waiting on stairs with no plane, he sees a reflection of his own situation. The next morning, Nemo refills a bottle with water collected from the sprinklers. Later, he breaks a vase and uses the glass pieces to craft makeshift sunglasses to shield his eyes. He then tries smashing the skylight, but fails again, pushing him further into despair. Hunger takes over, and he starts pretending he's a famous chef, making up recipes and talking to an imaginary audience. It's the only way he can cope with being alone. He also begins giving names to random people he sees on the surveillance cameras, just to feel like he's not completely alone. Soon after, the temperature inside drops even more, and Nemo starts shivering. He tries to mess with the wiring behind the security panel to fix it, but again, nothing happens. The following morning, sunlight peeks through the broken glass. Nemo watches the light scatter across the room. When a beam hits the wall, he draws a big spiral around it, losing himself in the motion. Eventually, he manages to finish breaking through all the edges of the skylight. Tired, he takes a break and even chats with the injured pigeon still stuck outside, jokingly asking it to find someone named Danny C. and bring help. Feeling rebellious, he picks up a marker and defaces the family photo, turning the owner into a devil, the daughter into a spoiled brat, and the dog into a holy figure with wings. While exploring the penthouse further, Nemo finds a hidden passage behind a closet. It leads to a secret room where he finally discovers the missing self-portrait. Alongside it are the fake body of an old man and torn pages from the marriage of heaven and hell. He grabs the artwork before leaving the room. That night, he copies a watercolor painting of a girl lying down into a sketchbook. The next morning, he spots Jasmine again. This time, she's not wearing earphones. Excited, he bangs on the door with a pan and tries slipping a note underneath, hoping she'll notice. But she doesn't hear or see anything and walks away. Crushed, Nemo falls asleep and dreams of new life. In the dream, he walks up a set of airplane stairs, just like the ones in the painting, and finally sees the front door swing open. After waking up, Nemo uses a piece of wood to make a new wrench, learning from his earlier mistake. This time, it works, and he manages to loosen the skylight. But with each day, he's slowly losing touch with reality. He begins telling imaginary stories, like one about a mother and daughter planning to eat chicken for dinner. Desperate from hunger, he eats the pet fish that belonged to the penthouse owner. It tastes awful, but he has no other choice. He keeps working on the artwork he started on the wall to keep himself occupied. Over time, Nemo memorizes every line from the video art "I Can't Make You Love Me" that plays in the installation room. Eventually, he turns to dog food, even adding some seasoning to make it bearable. After eating, he puts on strange clothes made from random things in the apartment and shouts about how drained he feels while standing in front of his wall art. The next day, he looks at a piece of art showing a man taped to a wall and feels deeply connected to it. Wanting to free the man, he takes it down. Later, while trying to remove a bolt from the skylight, he slips and falls hard, injuring his leg badly. That night, fireworks light up the sky outside. Nemo watches them with a cast on his leg and starts imagining that Jasmine is beside him, gently checking his injuries. But it's just another hallucination. He lies down and drifts off. In the morning, limping to the bathroom, Nemo checks his teeth but suddenly sees a vision of the apartment owner behind him, smashing his head into the sink. He wakes up bleeding, only to spot the smoke detector on the ceiling. This gives him an idea. Using paper, a bowl, and a magnifying glass, Nemo makes a small fire. The smoke activates the alarm and triggers the sprinklers. Water rains down through the apartment, but his shouts for help go unheard. He checks the security feed and finds out no one was alerted. On top of that, the water ruins the TV cutting off the only connection he had to the outside world. He notices some expensive artwork is in danger of being destroyed by the water. Carefully, he moves them to a higher spot, trying to save them. As winter sets in, Nemo grows weaker, both from hunger and thirst. He spends time reading more of The Marriage of Heaven and Hell, and then imagines the owner's daughter and dog watching him silently from outside the penthouse. Eventually, Nemo completes a final piece of art, a symbolic sculpture made from the last nut he had removed from the skylight. The sculpture represents his journey and his will to survive. He places it among other pieces, including copies of Clementi's watercolor and Sheila's self-portrait. Standing before them, Nemo lifts his arms and begins singing softly, hinting that his escape is finally near. As he prepares to leave, he remembers something from childhood. A teacher had once asked the class what 3 things they'd save from a house fire. While other kids mentioned family members, Nemo had answered his sketchbook, an AC/DC album, and his cat Groucho. Over time, his cat passed away, and the album was never returned. Only the sketchbook stayed with him, and it became his most important treasure. It reminded him that while pets die and music fades, art lives on. Before leaving, Nemo writes a note on the wall. In it, he shares that memory and tells the owner that he managed to save 3 of the apartment's artworks. He also writes how the penthouse felt like a cage, and he apologizes for the damage he caused. But he ends the message with a powerful thought. Maybe the place needed to be broken because sometimes destruction is necessary to create something new. In a moment of frustration, he crumples some sketchbook pages, then climbs his handmade tower one last time. With all his strength, he pushes the skylight open, sending the panel crashing to the floor. Then, without a word, Nemo disappears through the opening, and no one knows what happens to him after that.
Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.